Hello, hello, hello. How are you? How are you? How are you? This is your girl, Coach Tanya, and I am excited today. We're going to be talking about why you are having problems with producing the fruit that you know damn well that you were born to create. So today's topic is a tree of no fruit. We're going to be talking about removing mental blocks. What are those mental blocks that you have inside of your mind that are keeping you from producing the fruit that you know that you are supposed to be producing? So I want to thank you today and welcome to today's intimate conversation. Today's webinar is going to blow your mind. It is going to fill you with a lot of knowledge, a lot of tools for you to utilize, and it's going to put you in a place of power, and you're going to find that passion, and you're even going to understand the purpose of all that it is. So I'm trying to actually find my meditation music that I want to play in my background, and of course there's an ad on TV. I need to get it together. So I'm going to be doing, we're going to be talking about 6 things. I'm sorry, you guys. We're going to be talking about 6 things that are going to get you in the mindset of how to produce that fruit. So I'm going to tell you a story about myself. First, I'm going to give you a little bit of background about myself, and then I'm going to tell you about the trauma recovery room and all how it got started. And it's actually having a lot to do with today's subject. So my name is Tanya K. Austin. For those of you who do not know me, welcome, welcome, welcome. For those of you who do, welcome back. For those of you who are new, welcome to the Trauma Recovery Room, where you can find that space and that energy that will allow you to heal from your emotional pain, your emotional struggles, and to overcome the challenges that are keeping you back from, one, producing the fruit that you're supposed to, but to just walking in your purpose and living out your life. I am a struggle strategist. I'm a mindset coach. I'm also a spiritual healer and an intuitive healer as well. So I read tarot cards as well. But I'm going to give you a little bit of background about myself. The Trauma Recovery Room came from my struggles of not knowing who I was, not loving myself, not understanding what life was about, and just struggling through the emotional process of healing and overcoming my childhood traumas, and then the adulthood traumas, and even adult traumas. So from that struggle, I was lost, man. Like, I didn't have a focus. I didn't have a goal. I didn't have anything to achieve. I thought that I was in love with my last marriage. I thought that he loved me, but boy, was I mistaken. So because all of that came about, on a search of trying to heal this man of all his toxicity, I actually discovered that I needed to heal myself. So I began to take the journey of learning about myself and learning self-love and boundaries and just implementing those things that made me feel better. And most importantly, removing those blocks. I had to go through the experience of removing those emotional blocks that kept me stuck in a whirlwind of toxicity, trauma after trauma after trauma, and just feelings of defeat. So because I took my time and my energy, I got fed up, and on my hunt to fix him, I actually fixed myself, and I was able to overcome those mental blocks that kept me from moving forward and even sitting here talking to you today. Had I not gone through that process of the inner child healing and doing the shadow work and the cognitive behavioral therapy, which is what I teach my clients through their process of healing and growing as well, I would not have been able to sit here and do this video for you, because my block in my mind was telling me I wasn't good enough. My block in my mind was telling me that I couldn't do it. My block in my mind was telling me that you wouldn't want to hear it. So I had to overcome those false thoughts. I had to overcome the fake perception that I was who I was, which I was not anywhere near who I was or who I thought I was at the time. And I had to break free from the shackles of that mental torture that I was putting myself through. So I did that, and I did it in 6 steps. And I'm going to unveil those 6 steps to you so that you can put the energy into yourself and that you can move forward in your journey and understanding what life is all about and getting out of that stuck place where you can't do things or where you're feeling defeated. So let's get started. We're going to first start off by defining struggle. And again, I just talked about how I struggled with the false belief that I was not good enough. I literally struggled with that. Like in my mind, there was, that good devil, that good angel and that little red devil. Like literally I was battling with that. And literally that's what your mind goes through. It's the red one would be the unconscious version of your mind, and the white one would be the subconscious part of your mind. And you really do battle and you really do struggle. But I'm here to tell you that struggle is just a physical manifestation of what your life is like inside of your head. So what you think you deserve is what you will physically manifest, and it will manifest into a struggle because that's not what you really want. You will have that cognitive dissonance, and you will definitely see the manifestations don't match what you truly, 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 truly desire to have. So those things that are hidden in your unconscious thoughts are what creates the manifestations of your struggle. The struggle comes from when you are out of alignment of God's will, and the universe is showing that to you through physical struggle. So physical struggle can be in the mind. It could be thoughts, but you have to understand that thoughts are energy. The universe operates off energy. God asks us for our faith, which is a belief and starts with the thought. So even God operates off energy. So what energy are you putting out into the universe? And what thoughts do you have hidden deep inside of you? That's where you want to start using to determine what's going on, and what to do comes automatically by nature. So that struggle is optional, you guys. It is an option to struggle. I, for the longest time, did not know, like literally, and then I look back and it's crazy, but I really didn't know that I was choosing to stay in that toxic relationship. The choice was mine. I had other options. God was definitely opening the door to release me, but I was choosing to stay in that struggle because unconsciously, I believe that that's all I deserve. Unconsciously, I believe that I could fix him. Unconsciously, I believe that his love was genuine. But realistically, he was just a fake and a fraud, and his love was just a way for him to manipulate, to steal, kill, and destroy my peace, my joy, and my happiness, and to suck the soul out of me. And narcissists are definitely carrying and walking around with demonic spirits because they definitely mimic Satan in the Bible. They walk around, they look and they lurk for people to find as their prey. They find ways to destroy you, and they suck the soul out of you. And because of that, it allows the person that's involved with them to struggle in their mind to be set free from that. So because that struggle continues, and because I continued to struggle, I stayed unfruitful in my business, in my personal life, in my spirit, in my heart, and everything. So because you choose to struggle, you will continue to choose being fruitless. Producing fruit will never be an option. And you may get some blessings here and there, but look at your tree. You are your tree. Look at the tree. Are you producing the fruit that you know that your tree is supposed to produce. If your tree is not producing pineapples, and you know you're a pineapple person, and you see bananas, there's something wrong. There's something wrong in the root of your tree, which is what you need to get to the bottom of. So when you focus on those negative beliefs, you stay challenged. But when you change your mind, you change your life. When you change your mind, you change the energy that you put into the, that you put out into the universe. Therefore, you're changing the permission that you're giving the universe to produce that same energy back for you. And when you become aware that your negative beliefs are producing no fruit, then you'll realize that you have to accept your reality as it is and begin to walk that walk of your truth, which is you are not producing fruit because you don't want to. You are not happy in a situation because you're choosing to be sad. You're choosing to take what is available to you and not use it. So when God created us, he created us with these spirits, what he calls spirits. And one of them is definitely not fear. He starts off by saying we were not created with the spirit of fear, but of power. And that power is your ability to rule the forces of nature with your thoughts, with your mind. That power, your subconscious mind, is your superpower. So that power that God gave you is already in you as a gift, which means you don't have to keep going to him asking for it. You don't have to keep praying for it. You don't have to keep looking for it in outside sources. It's in you. That power and that ability for you to pull forward and for you to become creative in your thoughts, creative in your actions, so that you can begin to produce the fruit. That power is in you. God created you with the spirit of love. That love must first come from self. And when you learn to love yourself, then you can begin to speak love into the existence that you want to manifest back to you. And God says that you have the spirit of a sound mind. Again, that mind that God gave you, he put that gift of soundness in there, which means that you are able to create solutions to all problems through your creative mind and your ability to think positive, your ability to manifest that vision that you see by thinking positive, speaking positive, and doing the work. When you have a blockage, though, it keeps you from doing that. It keeps you from doing it. It keeps you from going to the next level of your life. It keeps you from not talking about those things so that you can manifest what it is that you're supposed to manifest. It keeps you from being able to move forward. So we're going to talk about these 6 things that are going to help you to bypass all of those things that I just talked about, to get rid of those blocks and to move forward and to wiggle your way through your life's purpose and to reach your destiny. Number 1, the first thing is you want to accept your truth. You want to accept your truth. And what is the truth about you? What is true about you but is hidden? When you can focus on what is hidden, then you can bring out the truth about yourself. So there may be some things that you are struggling with. You may have insecurity. You may have low self-esteem. You may be full of fear. You may be physically unable to do something. You may be defeated. Whatever it is, good or bad, whatever it is, good or bad, acknowledge it. You know, when an alcoholic goes to an AA meeting and the first thing they do, they have to sit there and own their truth. And they have to stand up and say, "Hi, my name is Tanya and I'm an alcoholic." They are accepting their truth about themselves. And in order for you to break free from something that's trapping you and keeping you stuck, you have to first admit that it exists. So by accepting your truth, you are learning what's real about yourself. What's real in you? What skills do you have that you need to develop? It takes time for you to discover your true self. It takes time for you to It takes time for you to be able to hone your gifts and hone your skills. But I'm here to tell you that the truth will set you free. If you begin to own your truth and own up to whatever it is that's blocking you, if it's fear, say fear. You're fearful. Lord, I'm scared. I don't know what to do. I'm scared that the result that I'm going to see, I'm not going to like, and it's going to change my life, and my life is going to be changed in a direction I don't want it to go. Be honest. Accept your truth. Put it out there. Let those feelings that you have be able to express themselves, so to speak. What is really going on in your life is what's going to tell what kind of fruit you're really going to manifest. You have to want to know what is going on first. You have to want to move forward. You have to want to accept your truth first before it can become clear to you. So receiving the truth before you're ready can definitely be detrimental to your progress and detrimental to your purpose. It can definitely destroy the plans for your life, and at least it can prolong you reaching your destiny. So when you're ready to know your truth, then the universe, by God's command, will start to manifest it to you in the physical form. Then you can start seeing clearly those things you need to see in order to create the change that you desire. So start inventory. Start doing some inventory of your life. Start evaluating those things that you see that add up, and look at those things that don't add up. Get rid of the things that no longer serve you, that no longer belong in your life. Do some spring cleaning on your life. Do some spring cleaning on your life. Start with the spring cleaning of your mind. Start with cleaning your mind. Start with clearing the clutter that's in your mind. Start by acknowledging your issues and being real with yourself. Start by accepting your truth. So again, what is true about you and what is true but is hidden? Dig deep into that part that's hidden that you're scared of and go and tackle and dive into it. You'll be amazed at what you'll find, and you'll also see that when you can accept your truth, you can start the unblocking those mental barriers that are keeping you from moving forward. Number 2, you want to identify your pain points. So getting to that place of pain or that sore spot will unleash that fiery hell of anger, rage, and bitterness that you have inside. So where does it hurt the most inside of you? What happened that caused that hurt? Where do you struggle with most? You heard my story about where I struggle with the belief of I just didn't think that I deserved that. And that was my struggle, and that's what kept that mental block, because I was unable to move forward. So where are you struggling the most? What needs to be changed? God is asking you to embrace change. What is changing within you and without your permission in your life? Why are you resisting it? Change is nothing to be scared of. Change is something that is going to always elevate you to the next level of your life. If you're blocking those things that were created, it was created in God's will for this to happen, to take you to the next level. When you're blocking that because you have a block in your mindset that's fear is telling you that the change is not good because in the past maybe change was not good. When you have that block or that fear blocking you, you'll never be able to move forward, and you'll never be able to embrace that change that was created to take you to the next dimension. So what is keeping you from allowing that change from peacefully occurring? What are you afraid of happening? What is deeply hidden inside your mind that desperately wants to come out? That place where you hurt the most has been consciously hidden all this time. But newsflash, your unconscious mind has really been in control the whole time. So you think that you're protecting yourself, or you think that fear is keeping you from suffering. But guess what? It's going to happen anyway. It's going to happen anyway. What God says shall be anyway. So why are you resisting it? And because you resist it, you're creating this energetic friction that's causing you struggle. And that mental block that you have in your mind, it's keeping you from allowing the change that God is requiring to take you to the next level. That mental block, or that fear that you have, or that false belief that you have, is keeping you from the change which God has designed for you to go to your next level. So are you going to continue to be scared of change? Or are you going to embrace it? Or are you going to submit to it? And are you going to allow it to peacefully have its way? Because everything that God does, it works out perfectly according to his will. So what are you scared of? What are you scared of? That change? Change is a good thing. See change from a good perspective. Yes, you may be going through a divorce, but what good things come from that? You get to be another person. You get to start all over. You get to create a life that you desire to have with another person that you desire to have it with. This relationship didn't work out, but the next one will. Embrace that change. Know that that change is going to elevate you to your next level. And when you can acknowledge that the change is what God is using to move you forward, then you can take that block, that fear is going to be terrible, because God doesn't operate out of good and bad. God is good. He is love and he is good. So when you feel bad coming along, that's because you're resisting that change, and you're scared that that change is going to take away whatever it is that you're comfortable with, whatever it is that you know your comfort zone is being challenged. And that's actually a good thing, because when your comfort zone is being challenged, then that means that that elevation is knocking at your door. It's the opportunity to move forward and be great is coming to you. So embrace that change. That's why it's important to embrace it and not run from it. Then we have number 3. Learning what really happened. The truth about yourself. In this part of removing mental blocks, this is where you physically actually go inside your mind and you dig deep. And you find out what thoughts you have. You find out what belief systems you have. You find out where they came from. You're learning what really happened. You're taking yourself back to that place of pain, back to that place of trauma. And you're rewriting that story so that it can represent the new version that you're going to meditate on, and you're going to pray on, and you're going to practice on. So go back to your childhood or early adulthood and see any resemblances to now and then. Do you see anything? For me, I can definitely say when I was going through that toxic relationship, I saw me begging for my mother and father's attention. I was begging for his attention as well. That mental block that told me I didn't deserve better because I didn't get better as a kid, that mental block kept me stuck in that relationship. It kept me enduring more trauma and more hurt and pain. And that's the thing about fear. We are so convinced that the thing that we're fearing is going to happen that we stay stuck and blocked in the actual pit of the pain that we're scared of, because that thing that you fear the most will definitely manifest. And why? Because it's a thought and it's energy. It's being energy produced into the universe by your constant and repetitive. That's why anxiety and worry are dangerous. Because when you worry about something, it is a repetitive thought of something imagined happening. Anxiety is an imagined fear or an imagined outcome. Worry is repetitive thinking of that imagined outcome. So when you begin to worry and you have anxiety, that fear kicks in, those insecurities kick in, that energy kicks into the universe, and you destroy what it is that you truly desire to have. So if you dig deep and find where your current situation, which is a consequence of behaviors that you've exemplified in the past based off of emotions that you feel that stem from a thought that's in your head that came from a particular situation. When you find that your current situation stems from back then, which is where your mindset developed, how has your experiences in between shown up. So look back at your past, look at now, and look at the experiences in between. Has that past incident or traumatic experience or hurt or pain shown up throughout your life from the past to now? So I can look back, for example, I can look back at my toxic relationship and the relationships I had before that. They were all toxic as well. So that fear or that block that I had in my mind was reflective of my entire life until soul was like, no more of this. God, oh hell no, no more of this. Even unconscious mind, this shit is crazy. Conscious mind, Lord have mercy. Super conscious mind, definitely. Oh, we got to fix this. It got to a point where it was so detrimental to my freedom, my emotional freedom, my physical freedom, or my life, that I had to remove that block. It was so bad that I had to remove the block. And if we continue, and that's because I ran from it, if we continue to run from those things that are blocked in our mind, then we will get to that life or death point, that backed in the corner situational experience that's going to pull it out of us. Because what shall be, and nothing that we do here on this earth is going to prevent God's will from manifesting. And if that's the case, then what's your purpose of being here? I was having this conversation with myself the other day. I was thinking, I wonder when people pass away, is it because they didn't follow their purpose? Maybe God had a conversation with them and they were battling whether they should do something or not, and their final decision was not doing it, and maybe God took them off this earth. Because think about it, and I'm not saying that this is true, this is just a thought that I had, but think about it. If we were here for saving lives and healing souls, or singing, writing, dancing, whatever, and you're not doing it, what are you here for? Just something to think about. Just something to think about. So in those moments where you look at your past and you look at the present and you look at the in-between moments, if they begin to resemble that thing that you have feared the most, then that's where you need to start following your heart in and looking at what is going on. Because if they also repeat from your past to now, then you can definitely find out why you continue to repeat the same mistakes. You can definitely dig in there and see what it is, the lesson that was being taught to you that you didn't get. You can use your past as a way to evaluate your future. You can look at what happened in your past, look at where you are now, look at the experiences in between, and come up with, remember, you have that sound mind, able to make conscious, good decisions. Come up with a solution to that problem. So if you've always been angry, for example, and you know that anger stemmed from your mother beating you when you were a kid, and I'm just throwing stuff out there. So now you're in a relationship where people are beating you up emotionally, and you're just angry. Everything just angry. Guess what? I'm going to start going back to that place of anger. Why am I angry? Oh, bam, because my mother used to beat me as a kid. I'm angry because I didn't have a voice. I'm angry because I still don't have a voice. Let me find ways to have a voice. So if you're wondering why you keep repeating those same old lessons, it's because you're still in denial over what really was real, or what was really real. Real about yourself, real about the situation, real about life. You haven't accepted what's real. And when you cannot accept reality, you can never find out what really happened. Because the reality is something happened. The reality is it fucked your mind up. The reality is you need to fix it. And if you can't say that something happened, then you'll never be able to say that it fucked your mind up and that you need to fix it. You'll always be stuck on nothing happened, so you're blocked. Your mind is stopped and it's blocked in that position. That mindset that developed keeps you stuck and stagnant from moving forward and developing an even greater mind. So when you haven't explored why you do what you do, you're only focused on the same results. That keeps you stuck on fixing the problem, and quickly, instead of repairing the source of the problem, which takes time. So when you haven't explored why you do what you do, you stay focused on the same results. So you start looking at things like the same things is happening. Oh, well, let me find a new solution to it. The same thing is happening. Oh, well, it's like putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound instead of going to the doctor and having a surgeon remove the bullet and then stitch you up and then put the Band-Aid on. You want the microwave, fast, immediate gratification solution instead of taking the time to find out what that block is, where it came from, what you can do to get over it, and how you can practice that life every day. You don't want to fix the problem. You just want a quick solution. So when you don't explore what you do, why you do what you do, and you're only focused on the same result, so your focus is on, I'm still getting the same result, let me do something else quick to fix this, you'll never get to the part where you actually repair the source of the problem, which takes time. And this keeps you stuck in that vicious cycle of manifesting either no fruit or bad fruit. So either way, you won't produce the fruit that you were supposed to, that were supposed to be tasty. So are you strong enough to emotionally stand and hear your truth? Can you seek out your own truth because you're ready to know its big and bad and powerful secret that's been controlling you all this time? Are you strong enough to emotionally stand your truth? Number 4, you want to rewrite that story. And I know I talked about rewriting your story in the inner child healing, but with the inner child healing is where you begin to understand that you have to rewrite your story. The next step in the shadow work and the cognitive behavior therapy is where you actually rewrite your story. Cognitive behavior therapy is the ability for you to retrain your thoughts and your mindset so that you can start thinking and believing and doing things a different way. Shadow work is you just digging deep and asking those deep, dark, secret questions, asking those deep, dark questions that bring out those secrets or those dark parts or those shadow parts of your life. And the cognitive behavior therapy shines a light on those dark places. So when you have been fed damaging information or evidence, when your brain is developing or trying to make a strong case about how to operate for the rest of its lifetime, when you have received damaging information or evidence during that time, your brain soaks up that solution at the time. So if you're 5 years old, when your brain is totally developing and you're understanding or developing, you're like a sponge, you're soaking up all the things you need to develop your personality. If you have a toxic situation in that time, if you do not get the solution to the problem, and even if you do, it may still bother you years later, because it could be one incident or 20 incidents or 10 years of incidents. It doesn't matter. One incident, if you do not rectify that problem at that time, that is what's going to stick in your mind as your truth. And when your brain is at that stage of making its case and collecting all of its evidence to prove its case of how it's going to function, it gets comfortable with whatever it hears and whatever it experiences. That's its comfort zone. That's its way of thinking. If there is no solution. So if you were traumatized at 10 years old and mommy, daddy hurt you and they didn't fix the problem, you're going to develop whatever it is that you felt at that moment. That's what's going to stick in your mind as evidence. That's final answer evidence that's submitted to you. Submitted to your brain, whether it's good or bad, it's going to stick as the final bit of submitted evidence. And those experiences are those pieces of evidence that the brain uses as its ruling and sets itself on whatever that ruling is to operate in that manner from here on out. But because we have souls and we are souls in human bodies, it has a life too. It knows better for you, and it is what will strangle those false beliefs that the unconscious mind has developed. So again, those things that you develop when you're young, when your brain is soaking up information as evidence, as proof to plead its case on how it's going to operate in its lifetime, how the brain is going to think, how the brain is going to respond, how the brain is going to process. If you have an experience during that time and it's not rectified, it's going to create some strife in your life. But thank God that God gave us souls, and we're just souls in human bodies. That unconscious mind that was developed as a child during that trauma, that subconscious mind, which is that part of us that's connected to our Creator, it's going to tap on your shoulder and say, nah, something ain't right with this. Now, the conscious mind, which is where you're consciously able to see everything and feel everything and know everything and you know, it's just visible to you, it's going to be so confused it's not even going to know what to do. But the conscious mind is you wearing that mask because you haven't sorted out those unconscious and subconscious feelings. Your conscious mind is going to cover it all up with the mask. So you know that something's going on, but you just don't know what it is because you don't want to face it. So thank God you have that soul, that subconscious mind, and thank God it's going to tap you on that shoulder and say, no, this is not true. Because it's what we battle between our worlds of truth. The subconscious mind and the unconscious mind are battles in our worlds of truth. Which one is true? Which one is real? The unconscious mind, which we'll talk about later in the next one, plays a major part in our chosen behaviors and thoughts. It battles back and forth with the subconscious mind over what is real and what is not. So this is why you energetically continue to pull those images of your past life to your present life. And you have to definitely resolve the issues with that. This is how you resolve those issues. You energetically pull those images of your past life to your present life. So during your resolution, during resolving the issue, the resolution, you are rewriting the story that you tell yourself. And you do this by strategic techniques. And those strategic techniques are the cognitive behavior therapy and the shadow work. So number 5, shifting your mind. Shifting your mind. So remember, the unconscious mind holds all these secret beliefs that you've had about yourself since you were first developed in the brain and in your mindset. They've ruled your mind all of your life. And because they were never challenged, you kept them for safekeeping. This is where your ego is developed. The ego only knows what's best for it, and it is developed in your unconscious mind space. It is selfish as hell, but the ego is the mind's natural way of protecting you. Even though it doesn't protect you, it thinks that it does, and it develops tactics and strategies on how to do it. So say, for example, you were abused as a kid and you learned to shut down because talking got you whooped or yelled at. When you tried to express your feelings, you were always shut down by your parents yelling at you. So you learn to grow older when you experience rough things or things bad happening, or you get in that feeling where you feel like that little kid again. You shut down. You don't speak. You don't talk about things. You keep them tightly tucked inside, and you develop that hurt feeling and that shame, and you think bad, and you produce that negative energy. So the ego protecting you from that same emotional harm it got when it developed itself, that's what the ego does. That's its protecting you. But it creates a source of energy that's non-productive. It does not allow you to produce fruit because the ego is going to keep you in a state of being, acting, thinking, feeling, and doing that's going to protect you. It's not actually protecting your soul. It's protecting the unconscious mind, or it's protecting being hurt again in that same manner that it was hurt before. So those certain behaviors you learn to develop to help the ego accomplish its mission to protect you will become a permanent fixture in your life if you don't learn to remove those blockages. So this is until it starts to destroy all that God has for you in your life. So you start developing the strength to shift the way you see things and how you process them, and how to regard them in the future. So this is what shifting your mind is all about. You learn that changing your mind is what will change your life. So if you get to that place where you no longer want to use your ego, because ego is definitely emotional. You're just an emotional person. You operate through your emotions. You don't think strategically, logically, or any other way. You just operate off of that fear that those emotions are giving you. So when you realize that that's not healthy, and it takes you to a place where God is removing everything from you to get your attention, then you can begin to have that strength that you need to create that shift in your thinking. And that's what shifts your mind. So you start looking for ways to continue to shift your mind, and you keep that desire to stay committed to creating that change that you want to have. So you continue to do the things that you need to do. And those situations that once were before, once you shift your mind, you see that they have no power. So everything after you surrender falls right in place. And surrendering is you allowing what is to be to be. So if God is removing people out of your life, then allow that to be. Shift your mindset to a belief where, oh, it's not a loss, it's a gain. Because those things that we get always come to an end. And those things that we lose always replace with something new. And that's how you have to shift your mindset to see things. And don't take it as a loss, because whatever is yours will never be lost from you. Whatever is yours will never be lost from you. And number 6, oh my God, we are almost done. Number 6 is self-esteem overdose. What is self-esteem overdose? This is where you give yourself all and full permission to put you first. This is where you give yourself full and all permission to put you first. So you practice self-love. What makes you happy? What makes you feel good? What makes you feel love? What makes you feel acceptance? You practice self-affection. What attention do you need? What feelings have been ignored in the past that you need to pay attention to now yourself? It gives you permission to do self-attention. What is it that you need? What has been ignored about you? Give yourself the attention that you need. Stop craving attention from other people. Trust that what you need is already in you. You give yourself permission for self-pleasure. What brings you pleasure? Whether that's sexual self-pleasure, emotional self-pleasure, spiritual, whatever it is, what brings you pleasure? You give yourself full permission to do that. You give yourself full permission for self-confidence. The confidence that you have in yourself is you having that thought in your mind that you are able to pull off whatever it is that your heart truly desires. I have a video that's called Self-Confidence in You. I'm giving that away as a free gift. If you're interested in that video, shoot me a comment below, or reach me some kind of place. Inbox me or message me or whatever. Leave a comment on this page and I'll get that to you. Self-confidence in you. Because what that video does is it tells you 6 facts about what self-confidence is. So when you give yourself permission for self-confidence, you're giving yourself permission to a whole lot. So get that video and you'll find out what that whole lot is. And when you have self-esteem overdose, you're giving yourself permission for self-reliance. What is self-reliance? Is when you're able to rely on yourself to get things done for yourself. You're giving yourself permission for self-efficacy. What is that? That's when you know that your effectiveness in this world means something. That you know that you're effective. You know that what you are, your value, your worth is effective. It does something. It changes something in this world. And you give yourself permission for self-respect. So just overdose on yourself. Why not? Hell, you need it and you deserve it. It's yours anyway. So here's where you are feeding those newly implanted beliefs in your mind so that you can grow and become fruitful. You truly desire to see and taste that delicious fruit, right? Well, you have to first have the taste buds ready. So when you're about to eat some strawberry cake or whatever. I like strawberry cake, so whatever it is that you like. When you know that meal is coming, when you know your favorite dish is on the way, you got them taste buds, it's ready for it. It's the same thing with your self-esteem. You have to want it. You have to feed yourself with these beliefs. You have to feed yourself with the self-confidence. You have to feed yourself with things that show your effectiveness. You have to overdose. You have to OD in self-esteem. You really do, because that's how you're going to allow that seed to grow. So every time you practice self-love and you show yourself affection and attention and you can you do things that rely on you, you are feeding yourself, you're watering that seed that's going to produce that fruit. Because when you do self, and not in a selfish way to where you're just absolutely not giving a damn about nobody else. That's not what we're talking about. But you definitely have to do it in a selfless way to where you're giving yourself the things that you need first. That's automatic. That's just allowed by anybody. You can never get mad at anybody else because they're showing themselves self-love over loving you. They're supposed to. And if you are mad at them, then that means you are not showing yourself self-love because you're expecting somebody else to give you something that you can give yourself. So when you rev up your taste buds for feeding or watering those seeds of new thoughts and new beliefs, then you are definitely setting yourself up to receive some juicy fruit that is going to taste so sweet and it's going to be so good, and you can just sit back and relax and enjoy it. So knowing what makes you feel good and what is best for you is the ultimate desire of expression of self-love. But walking into those things is really what's going to allow you to manifest more love to come back to you. Because when you put love out into the universe, when you show God in the universe that you love yourself, that's the energy that you're putting out there, that you are worthy of love. That's what's going to come back to you. Those things that are unloving, they may slip through, but because you do love yourself, they won't stay there long. And this requires your energy, your time, and your patience to do. So in your patience, you will definitely need to learn forbearance and extreme faith. If not, then you will not make it all the way through. And I want to say something about patience and forbearance and we're almost done. I'm going to wrap this up in a minute. But I am definitely here to tell you that, and I read tarot cards, you guys. I did myself a tarot a few months ago. And at the time I did the tarot, I was like on high. Everything was just going good. I had just recently left my abusive husband or ex-husband, and I was doing good. Clients were coming through. Money was just coming through left and right. Kids were happy. Everything was good. Everything was good. Everything was good. But I read that tarot, and it showed a couple of cards that kind of threw me off. And the Tower card was one, and the Wheel of Fortune was another. Now in tarot, those means that drastic changes are about to change. The Tower card is definitely saying that tower, which is your life, is going to come crashing down. But in the crashing down, that's just an opportunity for you to build up. The Wheel of Fortune card is pretty much telling you that your life is in a cycle, and there are some things that you're going to be experiencing that are going to, I'm just getting a revelation right now. It's going to be some things that are going to come to full circle and are going to end. Now, for me, that dealt with money, because I've always had this issue with money. I've always had this fear or this disbelief that God was going to forget me and blah, 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 blah. A bunch of mess. just false beliefs based off of my childhood. And I don't even know where that came from, because I grew up, my parents, we had money. I just didn't have love. So I think that's, and this is an epiphany, aha moment for me right now as I'm talking. But I think that fear came from, actually, I do remember. I dug deep and figured it out. That fear came from my false belief that God was going to forget me and that I was not going to make it through. Those things stirred up some false beliefs and some fears within me. But that tarot that I read prepared me. So when the situation came, I was prepared for it. When it came, I was prepared for it. Because I had already planted those seeds of faith. I had already transitioned my mind to believe differently. And the tarot prepared me, so I knew to look for it. Now, I didn't dwell on it, so I didn't manifest it. It was just a revelation to me. But I trusted that revelation. And when that situation came and all those things start trickling down, what so-called bad things start happening, I didn't panic. And my energy of peace and solace and comfortability and trust and reliance in God, and knowing that the universe is with me and God will never forget me. And the reason why I would think that, the reason why I had that fear that God was going to forget me is because when I was a kid, my mother and father, again, we had money. Money was never a problem with us. I remember my mother and father, my dad had just got a new JCPenney card, a Macy's card, I think, whatever it was. And he had like thousands of dollars on it for his credit limit. And it was me and my two sisters that I grew up with. I have other siblings, but they didn't grow up with me physically in the same household. But it was me and my two sisters I grew up with, my mother and father. We went to the store. Oh my gosh. My sister Quell got her stuff. Malika got her stuff. My mama got her stuff. My daddy got his stuff. Oh, Polar time. When we got to Polar time, guess what? Credit card denied. And my mother told me, oh man, we'll get you next time. And next time never came. So in the back of my mind, that unconscious part of my mind, that I was going to be forgotten. I was going to be forgotten. And even believing that, I even further went down to believe that, I believe that God, since we were like images of God, well, if my mother did this, forgot me, or my father forgot me, then God was going to forget me too. And that was the fear that kept me blocked in my mind. That was the fear that kept me blocked in moving forward. And that was the fear that held on inside of me, that kept me stuck, that took away my self-esteem, that took away my belief, that took away my self-efficacy, that took away everything that I needed in order for me to operate fully and at my highest capacity. So because I was believing that, I was stuck in a toxic relationship. And when I did discover, when I did discover that God was not going to forget me, then I changed my mind, which changed my life. So again, this definitely requires your energy, your time, and your patience to do. And in that patience, and I say this because that tarot reading prepared me for the patience and the forbearance, because God is asking us for extreme faith. God is asking us to show him that we believe him. He is tired of us just saying we believe him. He wants to see it. And in this season of my life, and I don't know about you, but I know that a lot of people that I know, this is just a reconstructive season. This is just a season of loss and clarity. This is a season, and I say loss in a good way, even though the things that we may have lost have hurt us, but it is a season of restoration. God is clearing those things out of our lives that no longer serve us a purpose in our future. So if you're losing things, losing people, it's okay. It's a part of life. It means that God is just trying to elevate you, and where he's taking you, they can't come with you. They can't come with you. So in learning all of that, I kept going. I refused to stop, because I know that my breakthrough is still on its way. I know that what God has for me is still coming. I know that I still have faith. I still believe. I still am patiently waiting for what it is that I truly desire to have. that manifestation that I desire to have, that I'm putting energy into the universe, talking about, meditating on, praying on, working on. Because that breakthrough that I desire, I'm not giving up on. I am not going to quit before my breakthrough comes through, and neither will you. But you don't want to quit, do you? Or do you? Do you want to quit before your breakthrough comes? Do you want God to put everything on hold? I just did a video earlier where we talked about Satan putting buffers in your way, to get in your way, to keep you from getting to God, what God has for you. And we continue to fall for those buffers because of those mental blocks that we have. We believe that X is going to fix the problem when God has already told us A through K will. But X looks better because it's easy and it's towards the end and we think it's the right thing, but that's just a buffer. It's just a throw off of what is really real. It's just a throw off of what's really real. So to guide you on how to take that bold step of emotional healing and freedom, I want to encourage you to do 3 things. And I'm going to talk about these 3 things and we're out. 1, I want you to first definitely set up your free 45-minute strategy coaching call so that you can hear all of the options that are available to you and for you, that you can put in place so that you can implement these 6 action steps, so that you can start to manifest the fruit that you were born to produce. You definitely will not walk away empty-handed, and your mind will definitely have some new information to register and make a best decision for you. Number 2, you can sign up for my 2-week Unleashing Your Inner Rockstar mini course. With that, you can work on your own pace. If you want to unlock the door to your true self so you can unleash it to the world, then that course is for you. Or number 3, and I actually have 4. Number 3, you can sign up for my 5-week mindset reconditioning boot camp for the Struggle Strategy Academy. It's a program that will teach you how to clear your mind of all clutter so that you can fully 100% focus on your authentic self and overcome those things that you are struggling with in your mind and setting yourself free. So you're constantly struggling in a situation in your mind and it keeps you blocked from God's blessing. This 5-week mindset reconditioning boot camp will reverse that. Because what it does is it's reconditioning your mind. So the 6 things that you learned about today are definitely going to be embedded, plus more, into the 5-week mindset reconditioning boot camp. And in the 2-week Unleashing Your Inner Rockstar, some of these concepts are in there as well, because it's all correlated. It all correlates. And number 4, you want to go on my website, and I'll drop the link on this post when I'm done with the live because we're wrapping this up. Go on my link and check out all of the courses that I have available for you, the individual ones and the group ones that are there to guide you along your journey, guys, so that you can release those blockages that are keeping you from your blessings, so that you can start to produce the fruit that you know damn well that you were born to produce. So that is all I have for today. I hope that this was beneficial for you. And again, if you want help in implementing these things that I talk about, then definitely reach out to me. And there's actually a worksheet that goes with this course that you are definitely welcome to have. If you want the whole entire package for this, it's $99. And that comes with the worksheet plus some bonus gifts and not only do you get that 45-minute strategy coaching call, which tells you a blueprint of what I can do, I actually start a coaching session, an official coaching session with you. So if you want the worksheet to go with this and the bonus videos that come with what I'm talking about today, and you don't have to get it, you can just stay with the recording, the live that I'm doing. But if you want to start putting in place those things that I talked about, then I have the worksheet available for you. The worksheet is actually $29.99, but if you want the worksheet and the coaching, the actual coaching session, that's $99.99. So if you want the worksheet to go with this, it's $19.99. And that you can just do on your own. But with that, you can do the worksheet, and still we can talk about that during the 45-minute strategy coaching call. But if you want to do the strategy coaching call, this and the worksheet and your first coaching call, then definitely reach out to me. Let me know. And you just pay the $99, set up your appointment, and you're good to go. So I hope that today was helpful for you. It was definitely therapy for me. I'm excited for you. I hope to see you soon. I hope to hear from you. And I hope that this does your mind. You know, milk does your body good. I hope that this does your mind good. So thank you for joining me. This is your girl, Coach Tanya, and I will see you on the other side. Hopefully, you're going to schedule that 45-minute strategy coaching call. Hopefully, you buy that worksheet. And even more, hopefully, you join the 5-week reconditioning boot camp or the 2-week unleashing your inner rock star, or any one of the other courses. Hell, if you just want to talk, if you just have a topic you want to talk about, I even do those coaching sessions where there is no structured setting to where we're focused on one particular thing. It's just a free, random talk, and we just go from there. We build on our coaching from there. So again, this is your girl, Coach Tanya. This is the Trauma Recovery Room, and I am out. Have a good day. Bye.